On the other side of the news that arose this weekend is Chase Claypool, who posted a very lengthy post on Instagram on the 4th of July, just acknowledging everything that has happened, where he is in his NFL journey, giving us some insight to what went down last season when he was in Buffalo, suffered a toe injury, which I think as a fan and as a member of the media and as the outside, we'll call it the outside, you hear toe injury and you go, yeah, bro, you got 9 of them. Get over it. You know what I mean? Get on the field. Sure. Nobody ever takes a toe injury. Like turf toe, I've heard is one of the nastiest things possible. But if you told me I got turf toe, I'd be like, all right, dude, I stub my toe all the time. Like, what are you talking about? You know, it just doesn't, it's not a body part that you're like, broken arm. That sucks. Chase Claypool has acknowledged or let it be known, gave some insight that he suffered a couple of torn ligaments, had to have some surgery, went through a completely year-ending recovery the first time in his career, and now he's back, wants to play in the NFL. He's 26 years old. He hasn't had a good season since he left Pittsburgh, but he had pretty decent ones in Pittsburgh. There are some conversations that I think everyone will immediately jump to, nah, screw Chase Claypool. That dude was drama, blah, blah, blah. And I don't disagree with that. Chase Claypool brought some question marks. It was also a different situation. Chase Claypool was here in the midst of Deontay Johnson and the stuff, the issues going on there. George Pickens shows up. The Pittsburgh Steelers go, dude, this is just getting bad really, really fast. These guys are getting loud. This is becoming a bit of an immediate issue, a growing issue in our culture that it's just going south and sideways. Things are different right now. Calvin Austin isn't going to be influenced by Chase Claypool. DK Metcalf could care less if Chase Claypool is drama. And Roman Wilson may be young enough to be influenced, but I don't think holds enough ground in the Pittsburgh Steelers' future right now for them to really care. So you look at the situation, the locker room as a whole. Chase Claypool wants to make an NFL comeback. I'll ask you a very simple question. Should the Pittsburgh Steelers just have a conversation and consider the possibility of bringing back Chase Claypool?
Yes. Yeah. To answer your question,
Chase Claypool, he's 27 today.
All right. He's 27.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chase. Happy birthday, Mapletron. Yeah, I think it's worth having a conversation because to me, I don't think the debate hypothetically around Chase Claypool would be, can he come in here and be an impact player or not? I think the question is he like a fourth receiver, or is he just like a person that could give you just some insurance, someone that you've seen have success, much like Robert Woods and Ben Skronik, and just sort of like you see these players might have a specific role to fill, but won't give you anything super impressive statistically, and is not going to be any sort of game changer, but 27 years old, he's clearly learned from, a few tough years in the NFL, and sort of, I would gather that has given him some perspective, hopefully for the better than when he came into the NFL. Yes. And if he's just, time and maturity is sort of a salve for a lot of issues that I think were the biggest problems when he left the Steelers. Yes. So if those things are sort of mended, and if he's, just wants to come in here and earn a job, it's worth the conversation. How much worse could he be than Robert Woods, hypothetically? Or, can he be someone who outperforms like Rock Taylor in training camp or something like that? If that's the question you're asking yourself, then yeah, it's a very easy answer. It's a very easy conversation. Might as well explore it. Do I think it's going to happen, or would I guarantee it right now? I don't know, but I think it's worth having the conversation.
I agree. David brings up a good question here, and I don't want to pass it up before we keep this conversation going. I understand the immaturity in the past, but Claypool is a pretty good deep threat. He'll be cheap, and I would take him over an older Robert Woods. I think I agree with both of you guys. Robert Woods, to me, is a guy that is very much so in the end of his career. He is a guy that I do not see as a guarantee to make this roster right now. I think it's a 50-50 shot that he gets a spot depending on how many wide receivers they keep. And if he proves to be good enough to keep him over maybe a Cordell Patterson or a Connor Hayward or a DJ Thomas Jones or any of the above, you just look at a Chase Claypool and say, you're younger, you're taking a shot. I think the thing here with Chase Claypool, okay, is when it comes to Chase, you got to look at the options around you. There aren't many in free agency. Like people toss out Tyler Boyd's name all the time. And I don't know. I'm just not to me, like Tyler Boyd gives you minimum return. Like you might get 400 yards from him, a couple of touchdowns. He's a good slot guy, but like you have a good slot guy. You hope you have another one in Roman Wilson. Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth could both play the slot. And you're probably going to utilize both of them there. You're looking for a little bit of something different. To me, Chase costs literally no money. You're going to sign him to a vet minimum contract with nothing guaranteed. He's going to show up. He's going to, I think, honestly, I think it's too late to sign a futures, but he's going to show up. He's got to earn his place in training camp. And to me, that's okay. Like, that's okay to have a Chase Claypool be the guy competing for a roster spot alongside Robert Woods and Rock Taylor, like you said, and all these guys that probably won't make the roster, but there's a shot to make the roster. And if the Steelers aren't going to go out and get a wide receiver 2 right now, which everybody just brings up, like, are they going to? When are they going to? Is it going to happen? I don't think it's guaranteed. I hope, I feel that they still need to. If they aren't thinking that, or at least not thinking it right now, I don't see the harm in it. You know, if Chase shows up and he stinks and he's not good, and Chase shows up and he's a problem and he's talking all this smack, great. You know, move on. But if Chase shows up and he's quiet and he's getting to work and he's pretty okay and he could be the 4th or the 5th guy on your roster, great. You know, and Chase Claypool, I mean, people forget, but Chase Claypool had 2 800-yard seasons to start his career, and then it went downhill real fast, like real fast. But he's still young enough to take a shot. And every year there are these conversations where we get to the place of like, should the Steelers bring back Juju Smith-Schuster? Should the Steelers go out and get this guy? Should the Steelers go out and get that guy? Like, I think Chase is in the same boat here. Like, you know, he's younger and he's got more deep threat potential. And maybe, just maybe, like, you just take a shot on him. I wouldn't say no. You know, there are a lot of guys out there that I think I'd say no. And I think the Steelers culture has changed so much that, like, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to let Chase Claypool ruin things. You know, DK Metcalf probably fight him in the locker room. You know, I just don't think, I don't think that they have to worry about that the way that they had to worry about it a year ago, where Chase is going to talk smack. George Pickens is going to run with it because that dude's a mess. And then you have all this drama all over the place. Like, if you're 4th string wide receiver saying something on Instagram, nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares. It's a different situation. I think I would. I think I'd take a chance on Chase Claypool. You think there's any chance that he, like, still has enough left in the tank to, like, make an impact on a team?
I mean, sure. I think just because of his age, like, he's on the right side. You know, he's 27. He's not too old. It's not like you're looking at him and like, well, maybe the wheels fell off entirely. I think you see him and yeah, he's young enough where there could be enough left in the tank and there could be enough drive and determination to sort of prove that he still has something left to give at the NFL level. So maybe you maximize that, and maybe it's just the right time, right place sort of thing for a reunion. I don't see it as an overwhelming, like, I don't think it's likely, to be quite honest. But I think you have to at least have the chance, and for a team searching for answers, you know, and searching for depth and production throughout the wide receiver position, yeah, it's certainly possible.
It is certainly possible. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a long history of not doing this, but this is not your normal Pittsburgh Steelers. And if they find themselves saying, why not? You know, it's Mason Rudolph. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Just saying. You never know. You never know. And I would look at Chase Claypool and say, yeah, there's worse options out there. There are definitely worse options for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They can end up with Rock Taylor as their wide receiver 4, and then you're going, all right, there it is. Here we are. You know, Anthony Miller was on this team at one point. There was Ray McLeod, my friend. You know what I mean? They've been through Marcus Wheaton. They have been through what they need to get through. And I'm just saying, there's a possibility.
Is there anyone, like any of the free agents that are expected to land on an NFL team this year, Gabe Davis, you know, the Amari Coopers, etc., Keenan Allen, Would you take Claypool over any of those three players?
I would take Claypool over. I don't know, probably not. To be honest with you, probably not. But I think that like Gabe Davis to me is Claypool, but has a little bit more upside if he's healthy. Mm-hmm. Amari Cooper's but I think Amari Cooper's wheels are about to fall off. Like I think it's over. I think it's just about done. And then because you could tell he just wasn't healthy last year, and I don't know if he's going to be healthy. He's up there in age to the point where like maybe he just doesn't come back. Keenan Allen, I think I would, but I don't think Keenan Allen wants to come to Pittsburgh. I don't think the Steelers have any interest in Amari Cooper, and Gabe Davis isn't healthy. So it's just like, you're running out of options to me. And that's just where I would go and do all that, but I don't think that the options are there for the Pittsburgh Steelers to take right now. And if there was one, I'd be like, all right, there it is. Chase Claypool conversation's dead. But I genuinely don't think they have any interest in Amari Cooper. I really, really, truly don't think they have any interest in Amari Cooper. And Gabe Davis, maybe, but that's like a later. And again, like Chase doesn't come in here for a roster spot. He comes in here to compete for a roster spot. And I think I don't know. I think it might work out. And then a lot of people, again, keep tossing Tyler Boyd out there. I'm not a Tyler Boyd guy. I don't think Tyler Boyd is anything more than a 4-yard per reception target. And you already have those guys. You have 7 tight ends. I just don't think you need another one.